it seems that there is a new threat to testosterone on the horizon. In fact, it's just arrived. It's probably out there now in the marketplace. It's been approved by the American Food and Drug Agency as being safe for human consumption, and that threat to testosterone is laboratory grown meats or cell cultured meats. Now I'm going to refer to an article here that I've discovered, and it's not good. Advocates of the carnivore diet are often telling people, support meat eating, otherwise we're all going to end up living on nothing but insects. It's much worse than that. They're producing laboratory grown meats, and just looking at this, it's not good. Now, I'll drop a link to this article in the description below. Have a read, it's quite interesting. The title of it is Lab Grown Meat, 53 Hazards Identified by the FAO and the WHO. The FAO is the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, and we all know WHO is the World Health Organization. Now, these two organizations have produced a publication entitled Food Safety Aspects of Cell-Based Foods that have been grown in a laboratory. It's fake meat, it's not from real animals. So, the 134-page document based on extensive scientific literature, bearing in mind that the FDA in the United States have stated that these foods are completely safe for human consumption. Now, getting into this, the results, I'll read from this. The results show that there are 53 potential sources of hazards that can lead to problems and negative health consequences. These include contamination with heavy metals and microplastics and nanoplastics, allergens such as additives to improve the taste and texture of these products, artificial flavorings because it's shit and it probably tastes like shit without these artificial flavorings, and also additives, chemical contaminants, toxic components, antibiotics, and something called prions. Now, I had no idea what prions were, so I quickly googled that before switching the camera on, and prions refer to abnormal pathogenic agents. Abnormal pathogenic agents doesn't sound good. For those of you old enough to remember mad cow disease, which caused a load of animals to be slaughtered and considered not safe for human consumption, that disease is an example of what prions can do and was later attributed to be caused by prions. Now, antibiotics. Why are these stuff given antibiotics? Now, the reason for that is because they're not real animals, so they don't have a fully developed immune system. This means that they're susceptible to all kinds of viruses and infections, so let's inject them with antibiotics to counter that. Also, the other thing is that they're fed growth hormones, because it's animal cells in a petri dish in a lab, and it's fed growth hormones to make it grow bigger into a steak or piece of chicken or whatever. Now, just looking at that, this is definitely a threat to testosterone. This is not something that you are going to want to be ingesting on a regular basis. Now, it's also known, the report says, to have carcinogenic effects. this laboratory grown meat is cancer causing, and this has been extensive scientific research. Now, the reason for these laboratory grown meats, why grow laboratory grown meats when we've had a system of providing humanity with meat which we've been using for thousands of years, using real animals, and it's working well, so why change it? Now, the reason for that is because meat apparently is an environmental threat. But when you look into the article a little bit more, the bioreactors, so to produce enough, so if they were to meet the additional demand for meat by 2030 with cultured meat, they would have to build almost 150,000 bioreactors, which would have more than twice the impact on the production of CO2, carbon footprint. So this chemically derived, hormone-fed shit actually produces more than double the carbon footprint of the conventional methods of farming real animals. So it defies logic as to how this is a positive thing for the environment. So there's one you're going to want to avoid. Be aware that these things are now currently in the marketplace. They're being slowly introduced right now. They are said to be hitting restaurants before they hit supermarkets. You should be looking on packaging and label. If anything doesn't look quite right, looks different than usual, not the same, reject it, because it's probably lab-grown meats. There are a lot of rumours flying around that in a lot of processed foods, things like mainstream fast food outlets, who I won't mention by name in case they try any lawsuits or anything, but apparently a lot of these are now using lab-grown meats in the nutritionally rich fast food that they sell. So be aware of this and avoid this if you can. Do not support the fake meat industry. By not supporting the fake meat industry, they're not going to sell any fake meat, and then they can just, go forth and multiply. The health benefits are, there's no health consequences, I meant to say. The health consequences list is quite long. It's not something that you want to be ingesting or subjecting your body to, so avoid at all costs. If you want to optimize your testosterone levels and keep them optimized as you get older, don't start eating laboratory grown meats. Please subscribe and follow the series for more.